title company. Thank you also for the support. Oh, there you are. I didn't even see you. All right. How did I miss you? All right. So, do you guys know what the difference between talent and skills is? Talent and skills. What's the difference?
Talent is natural. Skills is something you can learn to do.
Yep. Talent is what?
Naturally.
Naturally, and skills is?
Something you can learn to do.
Something you need to work on, right? Today we're going to be working on our skills. Would you guys agree everybody sitting in this room is talented?
Yes.
Is everybody in this room talented?
Yes.
So what we're going to do today is work on your skills, and we're going to talk about some things, how you can change those skills and get some more listings right now. Would you guys agree the biggest challenge in the marketplace right now is lack of listings?
Yes.
Right? They're down. We need help getting more listings as a business. So today, our #1 goal is to help you guys get more what?
Listings.
More listings. And overcome objection handlers to get people to put what on the market?
Their property.
Their property on the market, right? The outline of today is going to be very, very simple. I'm going to go over a little bit about Jeff and me. We're going to talk a little bit about the giveaways. We're going to talk about a listing presentation. And then we're going to lead it at the end for you guys to ask questions. What's going to be interesting today is we want you to give us the objection handlers. So Jeff and I kind of know what's going to happen today, but we want you to give us the objection handlers. Fair? Do you think we're worried about your objection handler?
No.
No, there's only 40 in real estate. There's nothing you can make up today that we haven't heard before. So if you practice your skills, you can handle these objection handlers. Motivation is the key factor in two people. Yourself doing well in real estate and sellers selling their property. Would you agree? If you get a motivated seller, you got a good shot at getting a property sold if you got the skill level, right? So what I want to talk to you about is some examples. I was just playing up there right now for you. Do you guys ever watch YouTube and watch motivational stuff? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay. What's the #2 search engine in the United States of America?
YouTube.
YouTube. What's #1?
Google.
Google. What's #3?
Facebook.
Facebook.
Yes.
Google, YouTube, Facebook. If you aren't utilizing those 3 things, you guys are missing the boat on capturing buyers and sellers right now. YouTube was a pretty cool story. Some guys from Western Pennsylvania created that and sold it for only $3 billion to Google. So I highly, highly recommend leveraging that. Quotes. There's a lot of good motivational stuff on here. Do you guys ever wake up in the morning and worry about how you're going to get out and get on the street and get on the phones and look for business? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, that's a fair statement, right? If you ever need a little bit of help on that, Jeff used to send me some good quotes. I watched YouTube. Today I watched YouTube for over an hour and a half. I did nothing else besides I come in here. Why?
Motivation.
Motivation. I had to prepare myself for what?
Objection.
For you guys, right? I had to prepare myself for you guys. David, did you see me in the morning?
Nope.
Regina, did you see me this morning?
I saw you this morning preparing.
Preparing, right? I had headphones on, went to breakfast by myself. I was in a zone. When I used to call him before a listing appointment, I could tell if he was going to a listing appointment or not because we had to schedule a time to talk later because he wanted to make sure he was prepared for who? The client, right? So we're going to talk to you guys about that today. What we're doing here today, we do this on a daily basis, we do this on a monthly basis, and we do this on a weekly basis. If you guys ever want a boot camp schedule, I don't care where you work, Coldwell Bank or Keller Williams, Remax, Prudential, or Berkshire Hathaway, whatever company it is, you can come to any of our boot camp classes and see what we're talking about and what we do differently here. And there's no recruiting. Today I will not talk about Coldwell Banker, not talk about coming to a company. This is about you helping you get more business in your marketplace. Jeff Quintin and myself have known each other for years now. At first I thought Jeff was stuck up, and I thought Jeff was cocky. And I would not approach Jeff until my real estate coach said to me one day at an event, I'm going to these Mike Ferry events each year in Las Vegas and California, and I would go to them. I'd hang out with the same people. I'd sit with the same people. I would learn the same thing. Did you guys ever notice when you go have drinks with the same people, it's the same what? Same conversation. It's Groundhog's Day. Unfortunately, I was born in Punxsutawney. I know a lot about Groundhog's Day. It's the same stuff over and over. So my coach says to me one year, hey, why don't you go identify who you want to meet? Because Warren Buffett said this, and it's a very good book I read about Warren Buffett. All he does when he goes into an event, he scopes everybody out in the event. and he figures out which person he wants to be, and then he mimics that person. Then he looks at all the people in the room who he doesn't want to be, and he makes sure he doesn't do anything that they're doing. Is that fair? There's an interview on YouTube, Warren Buffett and his buddy, you guys heard of Bill Gates, right? And Bill Gates thinks it's a very interesting comment about Warren. So what I did with him is I went and scoped out 5, 6 people I wanted to meet, I wanted to talk to. I called them up before the event and said, I'd like to go to lunch with you. What I found was, they're the same people as me. They were just more motivated. They were just more skilled. They had the same talents, but they went to the next degree. They had their goals with them. They had their sheets with them, their objection handlers. Every minute of the day was very, very critical with them. That was the biggest thing that I noticed. So when you guys meet anybody at any of these events, or you're in an office and you want to be like one of your top producers, should you be doing the same thing they are?
Yes.
Yes? Right? So really think about that today, guys, when we're talking, and think about in your offices who you want to be like, and take them out to lunch and get to know them a little bit better, and you'll start to learn you're the same person. You just got better disciplines than you do. I got into business 2003, part-time, sold telecommunications, didn't do that well, hated it, did not want to talk about internet, T1s, VPN, all this boring crap, and got into real estate, started flipping houses in the city, and then started selling real estate. And 2 years ago, it took me out of the game. I was selling about 150 houses a year. First year in the game, sold about 20, 25 houses part-time. Would sell 50, 60 houses myself a year. What I learned is what I'm going to show you guys today in our listing presentation. If you can get really good at this, it'll fix everything. David taught me a thing one time. He said, Jared, what do you want to be remembered as? And I always thought about my dad when I pass away. What do you want to be remembered as? For me, what I want to be remembered as is 2 things. One, as a father, I gave my daughter and my wife every option they could have. And 2, I want to help people like you guys get to that next level. Because I see things in you that you don't see in yourself. Is that fair? So today, if you guys want any follow-up, you want any help on this, send me an email afterwards and I will help you with it. Phil, will I get back to him?
Absolutely.
So just keep that in mind, take notes. If you have any questions, send me a note and I'll help you. So 2 years ago, I don't sell any real estate. I've been managing coaching now for our office. This is all we do. Jeff, you've been doing this all your life, right?
Pretty much feels that way.
You didn't go to college, right? You started selling real estate right out of high school, right?
I did.
So about 20 years?
It's been 22.
You live in Ocean City now?
I do.
So why don't you tell a little bit about yourself and how you got into the game?
So I got into real estate when I was 19 years old. I actually, previous to real estate, I obviously was in high school. And I had a job working at Coastal Bank at the time, which went to Commerce Bank and TD. And I was in the loan department upstairs. So I would, go to school with my normal school clothes on, come home, put a tie on, and have to go to the loan department above, the offices above where the tellers are. And it was kind of boring, I was just kind of shuffling papers and looking at numbers and all that, and I wasn't really into it. After high school, I graduated, then all of a sudden a teller position came up at the window, which is the busiest of, obviously you guys have been to a bank before, teller window, it backs up, and Fridays, people getting paid, so it's pretty busy. So I elected to go and take this job. And what I found was I was cashing a lot of realtors' commission checks. So I got to see a lot of agents in the market, the kind of money they were making. And it was a lot better than the check I was getting. So I decided that real estate may be something I want to get into. Went to real estate school. I was 19, 20 years old, still partying. Took me a year and a half, failed the test 4 times. Finally passed it, got into real estate full time. And then, ultimately just, has been there since. It's been 22 years since 1992. And it's been very rewarding for me. But in the first, just like in the beginning, in the first 10 years of the business, I really didn't have much of a course, much of a direction to know where I was going, what I was doing. It was kind of like I got in the office and whatever happened that day happened that day. I wasn't disciplined. I really didn't understand, how to really make money. But I just worked real hard at it, and that's how I survived the first 10 years. The next 10 years, I actually got into coaching, and what I found was a whole different set of skills, mindset, disciplines. Then I actually had a schedule, and the way I used to do business to the way I do it now, I really just turned it about 180 degrees. So advancing forward now, it's been a very rewarding career for me, and ultimately, I'd like to run it out in the next 10 years or so, and then shut the machine off and kind of just be done financially, ultimately. So that's the future goal.
So you sell real estate now, what else do you do?
I do some development as well. I mean, I've been developing in Ocean City and around South Jersey for a while. Buy, fix, and flip, do construction. Got about 13 units right now that I have that are going on. Father of two, wife, another baby on the way. So all these different things, all these distractions, all these things in our lives that we all have, are.
How do you juggle all that?
It's a tough thing to juggle. I mean, it's not easy. But in my life, for me to accomplish, the building part that's going on, the investments I have, carrying 100 and some listings at any moment, any time, having 40, 50 pendings at any time, staff of 6, I got a lot of stuff going on. Wife and kids, and by the way, they're 8 and 9, so they're young, so they're still doing a lot of things. So what I've learned is if I don't put it in a schedule, not only my business daily schedule, I also have like a personal schedule. So if it's scheduled, then it happens. If it's not in my schedule, it just never happens. I'm just disciplined that way. If I don't write it down, and I have to have an assistant to keep my schedule and keep me accountable to that. Otherwise, I'm just all over the place.
So Jeff wanted to practice this on Saturday at a certain time. What did I say?
You said you couldn't do it because you had a tennis tournament.
At a tennis tournament.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I asked Jeff, can you do it on Friday? What'd you say?
So I don't know what I was doing, but I couldn't do
It
it.
was an appointment, something.
Yeah.
We scheduled an appointment yesterday and practiced this with you guys and went through the whole layout and organized it. And we both stayed on what? On our schedule. And if him and I both didn't stay on our schedule and didn't prepare for today, how do you think today's presentation would go? So, right? You kind of wing it, right? Everything's laid out here in time frames to keep myself in check because I know you guys have an attention span, correct? So I know we have to hit certain points. There's a reason why I'm supposed to have food at 12 o'clock for you guys, right? So what we did is we prepared just like we're talking about to you guys you should be doing. So Jeff, ballpark, how much business will you do this year?
We're tracking to do, we're just about 100 deals right now. We'll do about 250 closing pending for the year.
Good. So the giveaways today, I learned a lot by going to Jeff's office and shadowing him for a day. So one of the giveaways is going to be going down to Jeff's office and shadowing him. Who works with me on a daily basis? You get to see it in action because that's what I do. I've learned in life we can do it 2 ways. We can create it, or we can just take the path that's already created. So trivia question. What % of people in the United States of America create something? What percent?
2.
Close. Someone said 2. 3%. So what happens the other 97%? They either follow or they what? Watch or fail.
Yeah.
So what I recommend today is watch what works, just take it and use it in your marketplace. It's the same thing. Jeff, when we get coached, we get taught. Does it matter if you live in Vegas, California, Punxsutawney, or Philadelphia, or South Jersey?
No, it really doesn't.
It's the same motivation, same question, same objection. Is fair? So what we're going to teach you today, doesn't matter if you're in the suburbs, city, South Jersey, wherever you guys are from, you can use it. Second giveaway is going to be 2 hours of prospecting with me. If you want FSBOs, you want expireds, you want appointments set, I'll give you 2 hours and I'll set appointments with you. On average, I could typically set 5 to 7 appointments a week when I was selling. Agents who right now, utilize me and want to get appointments, I call and I'll help them set appointments and give them off. So if you want that, that's the second prize. The third one is you come to us with your hardest objection handlers, and Jeff and I will respond back to you with an answer on how to handle that situation on your objection handler. That's the third giveaway. The fourth is Darren Hardy. Anybody that works here, I'm going to get a couple smirks. They're going to know who Darren Hardy is. Does anybody know Darren Hardy that does not work with me? Does anybody know Darren Hardy that does not work at Coldwell? Darren Hardy created a magazine called Success Magazine. You guys ever hear that? Darren Hardy was a realtor. Darren Hardy got taught by Jim Rohn, right? R-O-H-N? R-O-H-N. Unbelievable guy if you guys want to learn from. He's an extremely smart guy. Darren Hardy Compound Effect. Now, anybody that got the Compound Effect and read it, I think we have 15, 20 copies going around the office. What do you guys think of it?
Great.
Great?
Yeah.
It's about the little things you do each day that compound, and they lead to what? Success. And that's one of the things that he and my company and past real estate coaches have taught me. Today is not going to change your life, guys. Today is just a step in the right direction if you take action when you leave. It's what you do when you leave, not what you do when you're here. Fair? Just like follow-up in sales. You guys realize the follow-up is better than the actual presentation.
That's right.
A lot of times. Now, if you give a good enough presentation, it will close itself. We got taught that by Ferry, right? Ferry always taught us that. If you did not close it, the follow-up is the key part. So we'll give you a Darren Hardy book. And lastly, besides Ron Goswich giving a car away, my clothing suit guy will give a shirt away, custom shirt, whoever wins the 5th prize. Tried to get him to give a suit, but he wouldn't give a suit up, so he gave a custom shirt. All right, so the video. Here's what we're going to do next. We're going to give you a little bit of information about the situation. All right, so you guys agree the market's down in listings, right?
Yes.
Would you guys agree? Pre-routines. Who has a pre-routine in here? Raise your hand before you go on a listing presentation. You do the same thing every time. Raise your hand high, I can't see it. Okay, good. That's about a fair number. I typically see around 10-15% of the people have that. Who watches sports in here? What do most of the athletes do before a game? Warm up, practice. What else do they do? What's in their ears?
Motivational.
Motivational music. If you try to talk to me before a presentation, does it get very long, Tom?
Yes.
Right? I am zoned in on what I'm focusing on for the presentation, right? So the same thing with you guys, you got to prepare before you go out. Some of us will listen to CDs, DVDs, audio files to stay focused. What do most realtors do before they go on an appointment? Take phone calls. Call people back who called them during the day. Is that fair? Raise your hand if you return phone calls when you go to an appointment. I'd say over 50% of the people do.
That's right.
Right? Did you guys agree?
Yeah.
You're going to a presentation, you're returning phone calls to people. Now, what about if it's a negative phone call? How's your mindset when you go into that appointment?
Distracted.
Distracted. What about if it's not negative and they're just asking questions and now your brain's working?
Distracting.
Distracting. So our first tip for you guys, if you have a notepad and you want to write it down, your first tip of the day would be your pre-routine is as important as your presentation. Don't read the newspaper. Don't talk to anybody negative. Just focus on your appointment and figure out what objection handlers are going to give you. Right? You guys can kind of figure out when you talk to a person beforehand what objection handlers are going to give you on a presentation. Would you agree?
Yes.
If you talk to them enough on the phone and figured out their personality stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about pre-routine, then we're going to go listing appointment, and then we're going to go follow-up. So the first part is pre-routine. Jeff, how many people do you talk to each week for prospecting?
I talk to an average about 30 people per day.
30
30
people
new
a day.
contacts a day.
30 new people a day. And what's the best time to be talking to people?
I'm on the phone between 8:45 and 9 o'clock, 9:15, depends on the kids' schedule, but in the morning, always prospecting I do is first thing in the morning.
And would you agree if you don't get to bed on the right time or eat the right food the night before, your morning's off?
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, your day starts the night before. I mean, if I'm going to bed late or just whatever, it just screws me all up in the morning.
So I learned this when I went to these retreats and met these people that I learned that I thought I got up early. So I started running out in Vegas, which anybody run in Vegas, it's not cool after you're drinking the night before. And you got that heat going on, it's not fun. Everybody that I wanted to see out in the street that I thought would be running, they were done. They were coming back in. I was just going out. It was 6 o'clock. I thought I was early. These people were out 5 o'clock running, right? Because their pre-routine had to get ready before the event at 8 o'clock. The night before is critical. If you're eating too late, you typically go to what too late? So I learned right now I'm cutting 6:30. So I played tennis last night from 6:30 to 7:30. When I came home, I'm hungry. I don't eat. Because when I can go to bed, what? I can sleep better. I go to bed earlier. If I eat when I come home at 8 o'clock, your body's processing, you're going to bed too late, and you're waking up what? And your pre-routine in the morning before you go to work is off. So the key is the night before, and in the morning, if you notice the time he's talking about, guys and girls, or ladies and gentlemen, is what time do you get to work?
Typically between 8:30 and 8:45. That's normally. Sometimes it's later than that. Depends on the kids.
Yep.
If I'm dropping too off at school, that's just what I do.
How many hours do you spend prospecting, you said?
4 hours a day.
And why do you spend that much a day? If you're making $1 million a year, why would you get on the phones? That sounds kind of crazy.
You know, what I do is, I have to lead generate every day. I got to prospect every day. I mean, if I don't have that pipeline, so what I recognize is that, what I've been doing today, the results I'm getting today is only from the last 90 days. So you got to go through these cycles. So I know that right now, if I'm going to set appointments, I've got to actually generate those leads. I've got to set appointments each day. I've got to go on to presentations. So I'm always continually looking for new business. That's just what I do every day.
And if you don't do it, how do you feel?
I feel like crap if I don't do it. I mean,
It's true.
it makes you feel like crap, but ultimately I've been doing it so long, I don't ever miss a day because of the way I know how it would make me feel.
Do you guys in your personal life right now have a good routine going right now? Yes? Do you have a routine that you'd like to get going?
Yeah.
How many days does it take to build a habit?
21.
21. 67, 21, depends on the book you read, 21, 67. I think a full-blown, getting it going, would you say, is about 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Once you get 2 months solid into it, you really feel weird if you don't do it.
It's just like going to the gym and working out. I mean, you can't go to the gym for 21 days straight and think you're going to get results. You've got to really be there for a good straight 90 days before you actually start to see it.
Yep.
And that's the same with everything, so especially real estate. So you got to get in that momentum. I think the question is, and talking about routine is the routine that you're in supporting the goals that you actually set? Is it actually complementing on what you're trying to do, or is it just a routine? Because it's easy to get in a routine, whether it's good or bad. It's a routine. It just depends if it's actually giving you what you want.
And if you don't have a strong enough why or motivation, that's your challenge. He'll say to me when I tell him my goals, he'll say, that's not strong enough. You can do better than that. We had our first event. Next time we're going to have about 150. We need to get facilities for about 150. This one's a little around 100, 110. And we need a bigger facilities. And the first time I said to Jeff last year was, I'm going to get 50. He laughed at me. He said, you can do 100. How many did we do last year?
Yeah, at least 100.
We did 100. This time we did 100. So in the fall, we're going to do 150. Now you just got to go to a different facility. But Scott, you joined last year, right? You joined this year, excuse me, but you came to last year's event, right?
Yep.
It's all that momentum routine that we're talking about you have to put in place and doing the right things each day, and the compound effect, building those habits, was able to do that for me to help you guys with that. So Jeff, who taught you, where you get your lead where you get your leads? You guys want to know where Jeff gets his leads right now for these listing appointments?
Yeah.
Because how many listing appointments are you going on a month right now?
20 to 20, probably 3.
You guys want to cut that in half, or maybe a little less than that? Who wants 10 appointments a month? Who wants 10 listing appointments a month? Right? Okay. So why don't you give them a couple tips how you get 10 listing appointments a month?
I mean, everyone here has a database, right? Everybody knows somebody, right? And hopefully everyone's built your database. So I call my database.
Why is that so critical? Jeff, I found out a lot of people don't have databases.
Everyone's got a database.
No, but they don't have it organized.
Yes.
So what's some tips that they
So
should-
everyone's got a database. You just have to actually get it organized, obviously. Who you know, people you write checks to. I mean, Jeremy, there's different guides you can go through as far as center of influence, different subjects to reference to. But those are the people that know you, and a lot of, anyone I'm giving business to, I expect them to give me business back. So kind of upfront, right? So I have a database of the center of influence of people that I call and ask for business every day. I've got my past clients I've been doing business with for over the years. Now, if you don't have a whole lot of past clients as you're new, maybe you can get to some of the old files in your office of agents that were there that left. That would be past clients of the company. Maybe the manager will allow you to have those. But I call my past clients center of influence every single day. And that is a major portion of my business. A lot of it's repeat, referral, coming from that group, which is about 60–65%. So I call that group. Every day I call expired listings. Every day I call for sale by owners. And then I do some just listed, just sold calls. And then within the just listed, just sold calls, I also look for development opportunities as well. So I dig a little deeper, looking for the ones that I get multiple transactions from. So those are the sources that I concentrate on.
So expired FSBO is one of the big objections I hear from people is everybody's calling those. What's your viewpoint on that?
There's a lot of agents calling those, but there's not a lot of agents following up on those. So you know, you'll come across that, and that's important, is understanding that, you know, you call one time, certainly you could get rejected from it. But ultimately, it's the follow-up process. It's understanding who to call, when to call, and how often, and the frequency, and being consistent with that. And that's how I get a lot of my expired listings. I mean, I'm relentless. I call them until they either relist or they expire, or they tell me they hang up on me. It's kind of like I call them until they're dead. You know.
How much time in between?
I call them every day. It depends on. I mean, I'll call an expired at you know, if I'm not getting them, I'll call them as far as, you know, morning, noon, and then in the evening again to try to get them. You know, if I'm not getting them at 9, I'll call them at noon. If I don't get them then, I'll call them in the evening before I leave. But then once I talk to them, depending on the conversation, I might call them the next day. You know, but I have also other different systems in place with different email drip campaigns I'll be sending out and systems set up. So I'm communicating them a lot.
So,
Question, yeah?
if someone says, don't call me, I don't want to talk to you, would you ask them?
That's going to happen. That's
No,
going to
but
be.
what would you ask them? Would you just hang up, or?
So they say, don't call me again? So what would they say? So exactly what would they say?
Well, I've been getting a lot of phone calls. I don't want to talk to any agent. If I want to sell, I'll call them.
Sure, and I would say I appreciate that, and I understand you're getting a lot of agents calling you, and it's very frustrating, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But yet it was also frustrating having your home on the market the last 6 months not selling. See, as your home was on the market, I sold 184 homes. Wouldn't it be great if you were one of them?
Well, I know what I want, and I don't want to give my house away.
I agree, and I don't want to give it
listed
away either. And what you want is just to get it sold, correct?
That's right.
It would be a good time I could come meet you, just to show you what I did for the 184 that your other agent didn't do. I'm available today, Monday or Tuesday at 4.
I will have to get back to you. I have to talk to my brother.
Okay,
I'm
good.
sorry, I'm going through this thing, but what she said to me, I'm
Sure.
telling you.
I understand you need to talk to your brother. And is your brother one of the decision makers on getting the home sold?
No, but he has a lot of questions, and he will call you, so.
Okay, that would be great. Let me give you my number.
And that's what I did. And I'm
I
looking
mean,
for him
then
to call
I
me.
would try to still set the appointment with you. I would go back and close again for the appointment.
So I've met her personally twice. She wouldn't let me go in.
Just guys understand, you're going to have that happen all the time. People are going to try to blow you off the phone immediately.
How often do you guys blow people off the phone? Just think about it. They're just going to do the same thing as you, right? Did you notice what he did? He handled the objection, right? You just keep on going back. If you mention Jeff's name down at the beach, 2 things come up. Number 1, he sells a lot of real estate. And number 2, he's relentless. You're eventually going to have to meet the guy. That happened with Danny Capero when I left ERA and came to Coldwell Banker. Just got the appointment. This guy's not going to quit calling. I got to meet this guy eventually. So Mike and I took an appointment with Danny. It was one of the best decisions I ever made. But it's the relentlessness. Trivia question. I typically give out lollipops in the office, but I forgot them today, so I have no prize for this. But here's the question. What % of sales are made on the first contact? What % sales are made on the first contact?
50%.
50% is one guess. Give me 3 guesses.
5%.
5% is the second one. What?
90.
90. Okay. Try 2.
Yeah.
2. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. Okay. The second one goes 3, 5, 80%. This is really interesting. 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. Now, also, it matters what you're selling. But in this case, think about real estate. When you're cold calling a person, look at the people in your office who typically do really well. They're typically really good at what? No, it's the follow-up and the scripts. Marina, you're very good at follow-up. Just continue to follow up with the person. What's the worst thing that can happen? So Jeff, you and I have this sheet, right? Jimmy Cabasco, he's here somewhere. He has a sheet. If anybody wants it, it goes over the stats of it. We keep this in front of us so it reminds me when you guys tell me no 5 times that you don't want to meet me, I'm not expecting you to say yes until the 7th or 10th time. Right? And I look at it the same way when I taught sales is, when Scott Gullickson said no to me 5 times before I met him, that I made a certain dollar amount every time he said no. Quentin and I used to keep track of no's. I made $40 every time a person said no. So I talked to 25 people a day. How much money was I making? $1,000 a day on the phone. Show me another business you can make $1,000 a day and put the money like we did to get into the business for $1,500 and make $1,000 in 3 hours. So if you guys have fun with it like that, you'll realize it's not what they say the first or second time. It's what they say the 7th and 10th time. Fair?
Yep.
So if anybody wants that, I'll be sending that out to you guys too on follow-up. Jeff, when you go to an appointment, on the way there, what are you doing?
Most of the time I have something playing in my car. I mean, I've got different CDs and some type of motivational inspiration. Whether it be scripts or listen to Mike Ferry or Steve Jobs books in one of my cars right now. Gary Keller's Millionaire Real Estate was in there the other day. What else? I don't know. I'm always listening to something going on. But ultimately, before I get to the actual appointment, I usually put on some music, something I like on the radio or something that's going to pump me up. That's typically what I'm going to do.
So if you come into my office and smooth jazz playing, what's that mean? Tom?
You got nowhere to go?
I'm stressed. If I got hardcore party music on or upbeat music, that means I'm hitting the phones. Come on in. Either way, you can still come in, but just teasing. They know if I have smooth jazz on, I need to chill a little. So music's a key part of that, right?
Very much, and that's how when we prospect in my office, I have music going throughout the whole entire office. It's Pandora of some sort, either a DJ mix of something, or it could be anything. It could be Eminem, it could be 50 Cent, it could be whatever we want to listen to today. But it's something that's going to get you going.
Same thing in ours. It's we have cranking music. I go in there, it makes me feel really weird when you hear no music because your body. Did you guys ever go to a party and no one's playing music and everybody's dancing? No? It must be only in Punxsutawney. So, all right, so here we're going to get into is practicing your presentation, okay? And then we're going to get into the presentation. So first is preparing. You guys got that part? The preparation. How often do you practice a presentation? You've been doing this for 20 years. Why did you have to practice it for you?
Well, I'm always, here's the thing. I've understand and begin to realize that there's basically, you gotta have 50% skills, 50% mindset, 50% hard work. That's, that doesn't add up to 100%, but that's just my thought. That to survive in the real estate market today, you gotta have skills, right? And without skills, no matter how good of a person that you think that you are, you're just not gonna survive, in my opinion. And to make a lot of money and have a really good career out of it. So I practice my skills all the time. I'm role playing with my team, my staff, other people, a lot. And I've done that for a long time. I don't do as much as I used to because I'm doing some other things. However, I can tell you that over the years, I used to have 2 role play partners a day. I'd role play at 8:30 in the morning, I'd role play again in the afternoon at 2:30. And it depends on people all throughout the country, depending on the East Coast or West Coast time, wherever they may be. I've done, the scripts. I've recorded them over Baroque music. I've done that several times, and my team's going through that right now again. We've done our listing presentations on video. We've studied that, so we've really, done a lot to embed this, these scripts and the dialogues, to own it. So I work on the skills, all the time, daily.
So you guys remember earlier when I was joking, I said, I didn't like Jeff just teasingly when, I walked up to him at a Mike Ferry event because basically, at the end of the day, I thought that he was just cocky or too confident, and it was nothing. He was just focused on the presentation, and then when he was done with the presentation, he was off doing the next couple things. So when I walked up to him, I was like, all right, started talking to him and started asking him some questions, and he's like, let's go grab lunch. Let me introduce you to everybody I know. And then I realized that this guy's just like me. Do you guys ever think about that when you meet certain people, you just certain things? Because I just thought of him, he's so much higher than me in the level of the business I was doing. What I realized was when he was doing that kind of business, he was doing the same things, but he was just doing it a lot better. Do you guys ever notice that? Do you ever notice a person that works out a lot, that just looks jacked, but you don't realize what goes into that? Well, how much time they put into working out. Right now I'm into tennis big time. I didn't realize how hard and how many times a week these people play tennis and what they have to give up to get to that level, right? Do you guys ever notice that no one recognizes what we do behind the what? Behind the scenes, right?
It's Tony Robbins has a quote that says something like, what you practice in private is how you get paid in public.
That's nice.
So what no one ever sees, that makes such an impact on what happens during the day. And talk about skills, I mean, it all comes from also, we're talking about routine and having morning rituals. So my morning is, I mean, all, you know, from the time I wake up, you know, I'm either watching something, I'm listening to something, whether it be other agents' interviews. I mean, there's so much that you talk about YouTube, there's so much good information out there.
JeremyBowers.com, hint, hint.
I mean, every day, like this morning, I listen to it. There's a daily call from Mike Ferry. I listen to it every single day, no matter I'm working or not. It's only about, it depends on, you know, it could be 30 seconds to 4 minutes. But every day I'm pounding something positive in my mind before I get to my day.
So if you guys want to see who to follow, there's a lot of people on YouTube. Just go to my page, type in Jeremy Bowers. You'll see all the people I follow. They're very positive people. You'll never see any negative posts on Facebook. You'll see only positive stuff. I don't believe in negative crap. And there's a lot of the people that I found, him and I have the same people on our YouTube liking them. You can like the same people and follow them.
Yeah, I was just on the way here today. Was listening to top agent interviews, and I mean, you go to top agent. I think it's topagent.interviews.com, and you can just listen to an hour interview of different top agents all throughout the country, what they're doing, what's working, what's not working. So I do this every day.
So you guys got down the part about preparation, right? Is that fair? So the second, yes?
Yes.
Did I lose you?
No.
John, did I lose everybody back there? Desiree, you all right? Yes. Everybody's good? All right. Second part, and we got food coming after the second part. And then we got the third part, and then the giveaways. All right, the second part is the presentation. All right, so give us 2 or 3 objection handlers that we want to handle. Can someone write them down so we don't forget? Can you be the writer down?
My aunt's a real estate.
All right, so my aunt's a real estate. Who's going to help me write this? Scott, can you help me out? My aunt's a real estate agent. Give me a second one.
My house is worth way more than that.
All right, say your house is worth $100,000 more than what it's really worth. Fair?
Yes.
All right, so the second one's $100,000 more than what we think. We're going to say it's an $800,000 house, and he thinks it's worth $900,000. And your aunt's a realtor?
Part-time.
Part-time. Our favorite one, part-time aunt.
You don't have enough experience, and I know you personally.
Ooh.
What's that?
You don't have enough experience, and I know you personally?
Yeah, it's like I don't want to do business with friends. Oh, is that 41?
That's a good one. All right, let's pick the third one. Let's see.
What about, I want to talk to a couple more agents first.
All right, I like that.
Yeah.
Hold on.
If you sold so many houses, why didn't you sell mine?
All right, you heard them all. I'm not going to pick them. Raise your hand on the first one. Doyle says, my aunt is a part-time realtor. Doyle, I don't like you here. All right, second one, $100,000 over price. Probably that's going to be a favorite. $100,000 over price. All right, so that's one. Okay. The other one was you're a friend, and I don't want to do business with friends. All right, that's the second one. Okay, or experience. Okay, that's the second one. What's the third one? What was the other ones? What was yours?
I want to talk
Where were
to a
you
couple
when I
more
was-
agents first.
Oh, okay. I want to talk to a couple more agents. Or where were you when I sold my house?
Oh,
All right, so we're going to do the third one. They want the what was it?
I want to
Talk to a couple more agents. All right, so write this down, Scott. You're going to tell them back to us. We're not that quick. So what's the first one?
My aunt's a real estate agent?
Am I writing it down?
My house
Yes,
is
for you.
worth $100,000 more.
My house is $100,000 more. And then the third one is?
You don't have enough experience.
No.
Which one
I
are
want
you?
to talk to
Your
a couple
friend?
more agents.
Huh?
I want to talk to a few more agents.
I want to talk to a few more agents.
What about the one that I'm your friend and you don't have enough experience?
I only got to pick 3. Was that one of the winners?
That was 4.
All right, let's add 4. Let's add that one too, Jeff. Why not? Beat you up a little bit. Is I know you personally. How about we just, I know you through someone, because we're doing expired, and that would be a little too easy. Just know, we know you through
A
someone.
lot of times it's reversed. I have a friend in the business that I want to listen with. Versus, you know.
But this is the first time I heard.
All right, so here's this deal. Live in Ocean City, moving to Marlton. Living in Ocean City, moving to Marlton. I have a 3-bedroom home. I'm the seller. And 2 bathrooms. It's worth $800,000, and I want $900,000. The reason why I'm moving is I want to get closer to my family. My time frame is 6 months. I want to get something smaller, closer to my family. I need something smaller. Just can't keep up the cleaning, Desiree. Just too much, right? Too much. 6 months. You guys cool with the situation? Good? All right. So Jeff's going to go pre-qual first over the phone.
We're gonna do it, is this an expired first or no?
Yeah.
Do it all the way through?
Yep, all the way through. He's going to do a pre-qual, and he's going to do appointment, deal with objection handlers. He's going to try to close me. Let's see what happens. Okay? All right.
Okay. You guys ready for this? All right. So I'm calling Jeremy over the phone, okay? So I'm not even gonna really look at it.
Don't look. I don't look at you guys.
Okay. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, I'm looking for Jeremy.
This is me.
Hi, Jeremy. This is Jeff Quintin at Berkshire Hathaway, Fox and Roach Realtors. And I'm calling because I'm sure you figured out that your home came up on our computer as an expired listing. I'm calling to see when you plan on interviewing the right agent for the job of selling your home.
I don't know, Jeff, at this point. I'm just a little frustrated. I just didn't get the price I wanted for the house.
And I can appreciate that. So it's been very frustrating. Your home's in the market and you just haven't gotten the price for your home.
Yep.
No problem. And tell me this. I mean, if you sold the home, where would you go next?
Marlton, New Jersey.
Okay, perfect. You're moving to Marlton.
Yep.
Perfect. And I'm just curious, how soon did you want to be there?
The next 6 months.
Okay, good. So the next 6 months. Perfect. Jeremy, I'm just wondering though, what do you think stopped your home from selling?
See, the realtors don't know what they're doing.
Okay, good. So, I agree. These realtors don't know what they're doing, do they? Well, I'm just wondering though, I mean, how did you happen to pick the last agent you listed with?
Thought they could sell my house.
Okay, you thought he could sell your house.
I
but he
interviewed a
didn't.
couple people, yeah.
I understand. So I'm just wondering though, I mean, what did that agent do that you liked best?
They marketed the house. They made some pretty flyers up, and they did some brokers opens, did some open houses, but couldn't get the price I wanted. I wanted $900,000.
Wow, okay, good. So this agent you hired did some flyers, open houses, and some marketing, right?
Yep.
But obviously, you didn't get your price, and you want $900,000.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. And so, what will you expect from the next agent you choose?
Sell my house.
Okay, good. So you just expect them to sell your house, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Have you already chosen any other agents to work with?
No.
You're kidding. Perfect. Well, I would like to apply for the job of selling your home. Are you familiar with the techniques I use to sell homes?
No.
You're kidding. Well, what would be the best time I could show you? I'm available, say, Monday or Tuesday at 4.
I don't know, Jeff. I know you threw someone, and I just really don't want to deal with anybody right now that I kind of know anybody, because that's such a bad experience the first time.
Certainly, I understand that, and you've had a very bad experience. It's very frustrating. But yet, you said it was important to you to move to Marlton, right? You wanted to be there in, say, 6 months?
Yeah, get closer to the family, Jeff.
I understand. You want to get closer to family. Tell me, what's most important about you moving close to your family?
Just so I can get by them and see them more and be around them. I just don't see them that often.
You don't see your family that often. Wow. And I'm just wondering, do you have children that live there? Is that why? Is that the family you're looking to be with?
Yeah, I got a 30-year-old and a 28-year-old.
Wow, 30-year-old, 28-year-old. Any grandkids yet?
Yeah, 2.
2 grandkids?
Yeah.
And you don't see them that often?
Not that much.
Wow, that's tough. I understand. So just wonder though, I mean, if I could sell your home in the next, say, 60 to 90 days or so, would that pose a problem?
No.
You're kidding. Perfect. Well, then we definitely need to get together. I'm available again, Monday or Tuesday, this week at 4 o'clock. What's a good time I could come over?
Monday at 4 is fine.
Okay, good. I'll see you Monday at 4. So, I'm going to go right into pre-qual. Okay, so Jeremy, before I come over Monday at 4, I just have a couple of questions. May I ask them now?
Yeah.
All right, great. Jeremy, if what I say makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident that I can sell your home, are you planning to go ahead and list your home with me when I see you Monday at 4?
Maybe.
Maybe. Perfect. Just wondering, are you planning on interviewing any other agents for the job of selling your home?
Yep.
You are? I understand. And tell me this one more time. I know we talked before. What's most important to you in the next agent you choose?
I just really, Jeff, at the end of the day, just wanted to sell my house so I get closer to the family, man.
All right, so your goal is just get the house sold so you can get close to the family.
Yep.
I know you mentioned your grandkids and your 2 30-year-old and 28-year-old kids. I mean, you just don't get to see them that often. do you?
Nope.
Yeah, that's tough. So again, tell me, You said that you were moving to Marlton, correct?
Yep,
And you wanted to be there in 6 months, is that right?
yep.
Good. And when I come see you, how much do you want to go ahead and list your home for?
About 900 grand.
About 900,000. Okay.
That's where I had it on the market before. I just don't think the realtors did enough.
I agree, I understand. So your realtor had it on before at 900,
Yep.
but they really didn't do that much to get it done, did they?
No.
Okay, good. Well, as a professional real estate agent, you know, I study homes and prices every day. So therefore, I'll assume you'll list your home with me that will cause your, at a price that will cause your home to sell, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So Jeremy, I'm wondering, what do you think's the price you won't go below?
875.
875. Good. Perfect. Now, have you ever thought about maybe selling it yourself?
Yeah, I have. Yep.
You have.
I sell nuts and bolts for a business. I can sell a house.
I understand. So you're a salesperson too.
Yep.
So you can appreciate me coming over just
20
having you
years.
ask you to sign my contract then, right?
Yep.
Perfect. That's exactly what I'm going to do when I get there. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you thought about selling yourself. I mean, are you thinking about maybe financing the home for your buyer, or do you just want to cash out?
Cash out.
Okay, good. The goal is just to cash out. And are you planning to buy another home in Marlton as well?
Yep. I'm gonna buy one. Yep.
Okay, good. So you're going to
Something
take
smaller, around like 300-400 grand.
Okay, good. So your goal is to scale down, something smaller, be close to the family, and the goal is at least within 6 months.
Yeah.
Right? Tell me this. What would happen if it didn't sell?
I don't know, Jeff. I never thought about that. I guess I wouldn't be happy. I, would have to deal living down at the beach all year round, and these winters have been miserable. I just want to be with my family. I don't know.
I agree. I mean, you'd have to stay down in Ocean City again for another winter,
Yep.
all the snow, all the flooding, right?
Yep.
And then missing your grandkids' next birthday party.
Yeah.
You don't want that to happen, do you?
No.
Good. So our goal is to get this home sold fairly quickly, correct?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So before I come over, can you just describe your home for me?
It's 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, everything's done, Jeff. I spent so much money on this house. Everything's new on this house. Granite, 42-inch cabinets. I mean, everything except a gold-plated toilet. I mean, I got everything.
All right, good. So you've done a lot of work to the home. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, granite countertops. You've done a new kitchen. Everything's done, right?
You can't do anything to it.
Okay, perfect. So everything is all done. Is there anything negative or positive about the house that I should know about?
No, everything's done, man. No, just person needs to move in. Just need to find that right buyer willing to pay the price for the house.
Sure. And you want about 875 is the price you won't go below, correct? Okay, good. Before I come over, I'm going to go ahead and send you a package of my seller information, which has my marketing plan in it. I'm going to go ahead and email that to you.
Yeah.
And before I get together with you. So tell me, what's your email address?
abc@yahoo.com.
ABC.
Or MySpace.
Okay.
Is that
MySpace.
whatever.
Perfect. I can hit you up on that too. So no problem. Before I come over Monday at 4, any other questions that you might have before I arrive?
No.
Nothing?
Nope.
Perfect. So my presentation when we meet will only be between, say, 5 and 25 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, fair.
All right, great. I look forward to seeing you Monday at 4.
So you guys notice he has a lot of questions before what? Before the actual what? Appointment, right? That's just as critical as the appointment. What most realtors do is take the appointment and then ask all the questions out there, and then you don't get a second step and you lose them, right? The first appointment is the pre-qual. The second appointment is actually a physical appointment. The more you get out in the pre-qual, you're better losing a person on a pre-qual than not doing a pre-qual. Jeff, if I didn't do a pre-qual, what would you have done?
I wouldn't have gone.
See? So make sure the key is the pre-qual. If you need pre-qual scripts, we have them in a boot camp book for you.
How do you guys feel about having someone else do the pre-qual, and then if it looks like a go, then?
I'll tell you, I personally don't have anybody else doing them, but in my opinion, it's a great idea. If you have an assistant or staff, because that seller will tell that person more information than you probably get from them. And in addition to that, your staff or person doing the pre-qual for you isn't attached to what they say. So when they say, I have a friend in the business, or I want you to do your commission, or whatever that objection may come from the pre-qual, your assistant's not going to get all nervous and be attached to it, because all they're doing is just asking questions.
I'm not attached to the outcome.
So if the seller says, I don't want to answer any questions until I meet you in person, how would you handle that?
I would say so you're going to definitely have some questions, correct? Right, good.
Yes.
Good, and there's always a lot of questions that sellers have. In fact, I'm going to email you my frequently asked questions with the answers on them. When you get them, I need you to go ahead and look at them, and then just circle the ones on there that apply to you, and it won't address those when I get there. Fair enough?
The whole purpose of the prequel is to eliminate all the objections. You'll notice on these questions that are asked, these are the questions a lot of people don't want to ask. He wants to get them off the plate up front as quick as possible, so when he gets out there, the objections are reduced.
Here's my 8 frequently asked questions that I sent in my pre-qual, when I email it to them or drop it to them. And what these simply are just really the most 8 objections. So, how long is your listing agreement? I give an answer. What if we were thinking of listing our home for sale by owner? What if we're considering another company? What if we want to list high and then come down? What if I have a friend in the business? What if another agent said, give me more money, right? So I have them all on here, frequently asked questions. And then I just write down my objection handlers on it. So if I was to get there, I would look at it and say, which one of those applied, and then handle it right then. Obviously, I want to get it out first, but if the guy's going to be resistant and say, I've got questions for you when we get together, then you're going to have to go into it, but you have to know what you're going to say. And hopefully this will be able to give it to him ahead of time.
And if you need that, email jbowers at CBPrep. I have it. Him and I have the same presentation.
This here, a lot of times when they get it, just understanding by them getting it, and a lot of times when you get there, if your presentation is strong enough, the objections never come up. Got it? So I don't get many objections a lot when I actually get there because the presentation is so strong, and so I don't get them. And the people recognize, the sellers typically recognize that. It's when you don't know what you're saying or whatever is when you become a little bit more weak, and then they'll actually start to drill you with questions.
Good? All right. So we're going to go to the presentation. One more question, John.
Yeah, is this accompanying your pre-listing package?
Yeah, this is my
You're
personal.
emailing,
Yeah, this.
but are you sending a pre-listing package with that, or just that?
No, whole entire pre-listing package.
Okay, how many times do you find yourself when you get in front of them that they actually look at your pre-listing package, and what do you do?
A lot of times, in this scenario here, I'll set the appointment with Jeremy, and then I'll call back also to do the pre-qual. And when I call back, part of it on that would say, I sent you my marketing plan. Did you receive it? And they'll say, yeah, I got it. I said, okay, I know you got it, but did you actually look at it? I'll ask them. And then I'll tell them, well, it's important that you review all of that in its entirety before I get there. So can you go ahead and do that for me? And by the way, when I send that to them, I'm sending them the listing agreement. It's all filled out. I'm sending them a net sheet. I'm sending them my, what I'm going to do, my marketing plan. So everything's there. So ultimately, my goal is when I get there, I just have to basically go into the presentation.
So you're filling your price in?
I fill the price in. Depends on what it, depends on the pre-qual, when I send everything, but ultimately I will fill price, I will give them options, leave the price blank.
I do the same thing with you guys when I recruit you and we set up meetings and we talk and we try to find out what's going on with you, if I can help you or not. John, what I do with them is I actually send them my videos first and have them look at them, and I confirm with them that they looked at before we met, because a lot of the questions they're going to ask are the same questions in my videos that explain it. And then the second part of that, my testimonials will prove what I've done with them to help them eliminate some of these fears. And then once they actually meet them, I can just focus on them and what their goals are and if I can help them or not. So my whole goal is the same thing on my side, managing the same thing as you guys, is getting all those things out up front so I can just focus on you. And once he gets these people on the appointment, it's really just focusing on them. Is that fair?
True.
Jeremy, I just have a clarification, because I noticed that you did not, my name is Stephen, by the way,
Okay.
I'm with White.
Yep.
But you didn't mention the type of listing you were angling for. Was that intentional, and at what point do you try to close for the exclusive, or is that all you go after?
The type of listing I'm going for?
Yeah,
Yeah, exclusive.
Yeah, it's all we do.
right,
Yeah, it's all.
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Yep.
So
All right, so we're going to get into the listing presentation. Last question, I said this 3 times, which last one.
You have full CMA.
I do. Yeah, full on CMA. So CMA will be like this, okay? All the way through. That's all email. All the way through, and then.
Do you guys send this information beforehand, or are you guys a little bit hesitant to hold off? You hold off? Who sends it? Okay, I'd say 10% of the crowd, 15% of the crowd. Yeah. The more you can get to them up front, the more that you can eliminate by the time you get out there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do you guys give objections, like if you have a bum knee, when you go to the doctor, do you challenge the doctor when he says stuff to you? No? Yes?
Yes.
No, you do, okay. I'd say most people just listen to the doctor and they just go with it, right? When you get all these out, these objections out up front, you'll find yourself more being like a doctor on your appointment, where they're just looking for your advice and you're finding out about their situation, and it's a lot less selling, and it's really just finding out about their situation, okay? When he does his presentation, watch this, you're going to see it's more about him finding out if he can help me than me seeing if I want to work with him. Okay, so check this out. Remember the presentation.
Yeah, I mean, and I send everything ahead of time. That's just what I do. Because my goal is to get in there and out of there onto the next appointment and go start prospecting and find a buyer for the property, whatever it may be. I don't want to have an hour-long, 2-hour-long presentation. Get everything to them. And what happens, guys, is when they get that, a lot of times I'll come in the presentation. I saw your comparable sale. I understand. What price do you think that we should list it for? And I'll ask them, well, what did you think? So ultimately, we'll be in and out of there in 5 minutes because they've already gotten all the information. It's already done ahead of time.
What's the worst case if they get that information? What happens?
I mean, I guess they would just give you the objections from whatever they received.
In some of these, you don't even meet the people, right? You close people
A
on
lot
the
of-
presentation
yeah.
onto the phone because most of your people live in Philadelphia with beach houses
A
down
lot
there.
of it have absentee owners as well. But in this case, we're creating as if I'm going.
On. So percentage of his are on the phone and a percentage are in person.
But every time, even if I'm meeting with the client face to face, the presentation is being emailed to them regardless. Whether they're, 2 blocks away from my office or whatever.
Do you bring your size with
I sign? No, I have a sign guy. I mean, if I have one in the car, sure, I'll do it.
Some people will pre-record your 800 number and show them what that service looks like. I'll see some people do that with their name riders.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. If you have a sign in your lockbox, why not? I don't have them in the car.
All right, so we're getting to the presentation. You guys ready?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
You guys notice he asks questions, and you notice he has them in front of him. Jeff, do you have those on appointments with you?
I do.
Why would you have questions in front of you? You've been doing this for 20 years. I think that's weird.
It's just notes. It's just the notes I need to take during my presentation just to keep me on track because sellers will pull you all the way off track and this just gets me right back on as a reference.
I'm teasing, but that's the common thing I hear from people is they think they feel uncomfortable doing it. When a doctor talks to you guys, do they have the notes in front of them? When the president speaks, does he have notes in front of him?
Yes.
So same thing here.
All right. Okay. All right. So now we're
meeting.
Okay. Good. So Jeremy, thanks again for having me over. Do you mind if I take a quick look at your home?
Yep.
Okay. Good.
I'll come with you.
Why don't you actually stay here? In fact, here's my marketing plan. Why don't you go ahead and review that for a minute?
Okay.
Here's exactly what we're going to do. These steps right here, these 31 steps.
Okay.
Why don't you take a look at that? Let me go take a look.
All right.
Really, I want to look at your property as if I was a buyer.
Okay,
Fair enough?
that's fair.
You're not going to look at your vault showings, right?
No, no.
Okay. Very good. Okay, I appreciate it. Great house you have here.
Thanks.
And I'll tell you, you really did do a wonderful job with all these improvements. And I understand that there's not much work needs to be done. But Jeremy, I wrote down 3 real important questions today before we get started. Number 1, will you price your home to sell, or do you want to have it sit on the market a long time?
I want to sell it this time, man. I'm done with that.
Okay, good. So your goal is to get this sold this time too?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We have actually 3 things that can happen now. Number 1, you'll have the opportunity to list your home with me.
Okay.
Okay? Or number 2, you'll have the opportunity not to list your home with me. Or thirdly, I'll decide just not to take it listed. Okay? Fair enough?
Why would you do that, Jeff?
Well, a lot of times, your property just may not qualify for my marketing plan.
Oh, okay.
So let's take a quick minute and just review some of the questions I've been asking you over the phone. Fair enough? All right. So you said that you were guys, you wanted to move to Marlton. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right, good. You said that you were moving because you want to be closer to your family. You're looking to scale down to a smaller home, but it's real important for you to get close to your kids and your grandkids, correct?
Yep.
Perfect. You also said you'd like to be there within 6 months.
Yep.
All right, good. You had said that you wanted to price your home somewhere around $900,000.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. You said that, I was just wondering, how much do you own the property?
Why do you want to know that?
Well, just in case if you have the equity to sell.
Yeah, I owe like about 500.
Okay, about 500. So you got a lot of equity here. Perfect. Now you said that you had, possibly wanted to sell it yourself, but you're not planning to do that now, are you?
I don't know. It depends what you can say today, Jeff.
Okay, good. So it's a possibility.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And you said you just wanted to get the cash out of this so that you could go ahead and buy another property in Marlton, correct?
Yep.
Okay, good. It looks like if you get 500,000, you might be able to maybe pay cash for the next house.
It might be, yeah.
Okay, good. So, we have to really look at in our presentation today, just really there's two things. Number one is your motivation to move, okay, to sell this home, and also the price we sell on your home.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Yeah.
So what I've done is I've prepared what we call as a comparative market analysis. Now, in this market analysis, there's two parts of this research. Part one, what I call is fantasy land.
Okay.
This is what homeowners have their homes listed for way up here. And part two, what I call is reality, what real estate agents are going to list and sell them for. So we just have to decide tonight where we're going to be spending our time.
All right.
Fair enough? Okay, good. So just so you understand, the comparative market analysis is to determine the value right now in the eyes of the buyers. Do you understand how buyers determine value?
It's wherever they like, they buy.
Yeah, they certainly do. I mean, they're going to really look at, they're going to do the comparison shopping. Okay, they're going to look at the features and benefits of your home and compare it to others that are either on the market or have recently sold. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay, good. So my goal is right now is to put us in a position that creates the most value.
Okay.
Fair enough? Okay. Let me just take a look here at some of these comparable sales, okay? Before I get into that, when we talk about value, I want you to understand as far as value, in other words, if there was, say, 2 cars for sale, okay? One dealership, and you have, what kind of car do you have?
I have a Jeep.
You have a Jeep, that's right, Jeep Cherokee, okay, good. So let's just say that one dealership had a Jeep Cherokee on the lot, say for 50,000, okay? And then down the road, another dealership had the same Jeep, but this one had navigation and some really cool wheels on it, right? Say that was also for 50,000. Which one of the two is a better value?
Nice one.
The nice one, right? One that has more features and benefits, right? So as you can see, to increase the value, one, you need to have more features and benefits, or two, what if that, let's just say for example, the other dealership with the navigation and wheels, put that on sale for 40,000. Now of the two, which one has
I like
better
that
value?
one.
You like that one?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So to create more value, one, you need more features and benefits, or two, lower the price.
I got a ton of features and benefits in this house.
I agree. I understand. So we're going to actually look at that right now based upon the comparable sales. Fair enough?
Yep.
Okay, good. But you're not planning to go ahead and add more features and benefits to the home, are you?
Nope, I'm done.
You're done. Okay, good. So let's take a look at this, these comparable sales. Okay. Here are 3 comparable sales I want to show you. All right? This property right here is at 1501 Haven. Okay? See this one? How many bedrooms does it have?
5.
How many baths?
1. 3.5.
3.5 baths, right? Okay, good. And how many days on the market was it?
17.
Great. See what it sold for?
800.
Exactly. Take a look here in remarks. How old is that property?
Construction.
New construction, right? 5 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, new construction, just sold for 800,000.
So what are you saying about the price?
I'm just saying this is what this one sold for, okay? So, let's take a look at the next one, okay? See this property here? This is at 247 Inlet Road. Are you familiar with this location?
Yeah.
Okay, good. How many bedrooms and baths?
4.
Okay, baths?
2.5.
2.5, right? See what the price this was?
Yeah.
What was the price?
800.
Yeah, $799, right?
Yeah.
How long was it on the market for?
41 days.
41 days. And this actually had, what else did it have in it? Look at this.
Swimming pool.
Had an in-ground pool, right? See that? This is under contract. In fact, it closes on August 4th. Okay? But remember, listed was $799.
Not looking good, is it?
Well, I'm just going to show you what the buyers are seeing value. Okay? So take a look here. This is, see this property here? 4 East Newcastle.
Yeah. 7.
This has, this has 3 bedrooms,
Yeah.
3.5 baths,
Yeah.
749 list, right? This is under contract.
It was originally listed.
Yeah, originally listed for $850. Now look how long it's out on the market for.
197 days.
197 days. It's over 6 months. But look at its list price. $49.9, right? Yeah, so these homes here have just recently sold. In fact, this is going to close at the end of September 8th. See that? Good. So these are all on the market when you were on the market. They've all sold. Okay? Let me show you these 3 that are currently competing with you. This one here, see where that property is? 335 EC spray. Familiar with that is?
Yep.
How many bedrooms?
5.
How many baths?
3.5. I don't even.
5
5
bedrooms.
baths. Wow.
5 bedrooms.
5 people, 5 baths. Huh?
5 bedrooms, 3 full baths, 2 half baths. Right? Now look what they started out at.
950.
Where are they listed now?
800. 799.
How long have they been on the market?
200 some days.
Yeah, 223 days. Kind of like you, right?
Yeah, it is like me,
Yeah, you
Jeff.
started out 900 on the market a long time.
Yeah.
Didn't sell, did it?
Nope.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me take a look at two more. See this one here? 139 bay.
Yeah.
How many bedrooms?
4,
4 bedrooms, how many baths?
3.5,
3.5 baths, right? See how long it's been on the market for?
7, 100 days.
100 days. Yeah, just over 3 months. List price $759. Right? Let me show you the biggest competitor we got here. Right now, we know about the brand new one that sold, right? 800. Look at this one. 225 West Inlet. How many bedrooms?
5,
That's
3.5.
5 bedroom, 3.5 bath. All right? Take a look. Brand new construction. Brand new. See the price?
Yeah.
What's the price?
849.
$849. Brand new. But yet you want somewhere close to 900 still though, right?
Yeah, what do you think my house is worth now? After looking at that.
Well, you know, I just wanted to show you the value that's going on here. But based upon what you have seen now as far as what's recently just sold and your competition, what price do you feel we should use to get a buyer to buy your property versus the competition?
I don't know. That's why I brought you in here. Obviously, I don't know what I'm doing. The first time it expired.
No, I understand. But ultimately, let's just for the moment, put the buyer hat on. You're a buyer, and you're pretty educated, right? I mean, buyers today, you know what's going on. You're familiar with a lot of these properties, right? So this property here is brand new, sold for 800. And then you got another one. What was that brand new one listed for? Do you remember?
It was 8 and change.
It was 849.
Yeah.
Do you? I mean, I'm just wondering to know. I mean, what do you feel that the value would be if a buyer to get a buyer to buy yours versus that brand new one?
I guess like 800.
Yeah, I think about right. So I'm going to recommend that to get your home sold within these next 6 months, so that a buyer doesn't buy your competition, we need to list yours today at $799.99. Will you go ahead and list it with me today for that price?
Now I got to talk to some other people.
Okay, good. So other than the price here, you need to talk with another agent, correct?
Yep.
Okay, good. May I share with you why that makes me nervous?
Yeah.
Well, it makes me nervous the fact that there's many agents out there that are going to come in here and promise you a price just to get the listing. Now that's kind of what the last agent did to you, correct? You don't want that to happen again, do you?
Just want to see what else they have to say.
Okay, good. And tell me, what is it that you want to hear from an agent?
My house isn't worth 800 grand.
I understand, and I'm not saying your house isn't worth 800 grand. The buyers are telling me, I'm just here to basically tell you what the market's telling me. I'm interpreting the market. I mean, is your home new? No. It's an older home that you put new improvements, correct? Do you feel the buyer's going to pay what they're going to pay for a new home? For your home?
No.
No. So we can understand and agree together that a buyer's not going to pay $850 for yours because they can already buy one for $850, correct?
Right.
Good. So what price do you feel a buyer would pay for yours to get it sold?
Probably underneath 800, I guess.
You and I agree. Why don't we go ahead and sign that contract so I can get you tomorrow? Fair enough?
What was that last objection? Anybody else got one?
Here's that contract. Let's go ahead and sign it. All right, son.
So questions. What questions do you have? I'll raise my first question. Why would you keep on going back to me trying to get the price out of me?
Because it has to be that I'm educating you on what the comparable sales are, coming from a position where I want you to act as if you're a buyer and figure that out. And then I'm just going to I'm cornering you into pricing it the right way.
What questions do you guys have?
If you're trying to close the deal, if you're trying to close the deal over the phone, do you go over the comp by comp like that?
Normally over the phone, I'm going to send the whole market analysis to them, and I'm going to give them some options. So in this case, I'd probably say, you know, a 779 list to sell in the next 30 days, kind of a low giveaway number. 799 to sell in the next 3 to 6 months, and then like an 829 number. And then I'm going to close them based upon asking them if they had a chance to review those comps, pinpointing on the comp, and then say, then based upon that, where do you feel we should list your home so that you can sell in the time frame that you want? And normally in the middle price lowest pick, which is $799.
Michelle?
Mine is just an observation. I noticed you never said to him, you're overpriced. You just put it in his head for him to decide.
Correct.
It was overpriced.
Raise your hand if you like to be told anything.
No.
Do our kids like to be told anything?
No.
I like to think that we are not a smorgasbord, we are a healthy buffet. We give people options, but we lead them in the right option to get to what? Yeah, I was reading some quotes to my wife today, and it says a good salesperson asks the right questions to get the right what? Answer. And no one wants to be told anything. She sells to doctors. Do you think a doctor wants to be told anything? She said that her whole thing is all questions. She asked one question, I think about the next question. If you watched him, that's all he was doing each time was, whatever my answer was, he was moving on to the next one, but leading to the ultimate of signing that paperwork. What's another question?
Sorry, Jeff, what would you have said if you would have said, well, why don't we just try 850 and then I'll sign with you? Let's just try it there. I think we do.
Sure. You know, I would probably said something to the fact that I can appreciate that you want to start high and then obviously come down, right? We can both agree that the real number has to be under 800, correct? Good. The challenge that we have is that no one's going to actually come look at your home. In fact, you didn't get it sold last time, did you? And I'd rather you be in a position to list the property at the right price, have offers come in, get buyers in the door, and turn them away and say no, versus overprice and not get any at all. Wouldn't it be great just to get buyers in the door and have offers, multiple bids?
So let's just say that all sounds great, but he says, look, I just want to stick at 850.
No, I can appreciate that.
Listing?
It depends. You got to look at the reason. If this guy's motivated, look, guys, you got to take listings high and then bring them down over time through a good price adjustment or campaign that I have or education. Certainly, we all do. You got to look with a reason. But if the guy isn't motivated, then no. There's some motivation behind the seller. You know,
The key's the motivation.
Do you talk about that the property won't appraise at that higher value?
certainly, yeah. I mean, if there's no comps at that level, sure. And that happens in a lot of markets. Appraisals aren't really an issue at our market right now, but.
What is it?
Appraisal issues aren't really going on unless it's way up.
Yeah.
Speaking of appraisals, I'm preparing for a listing presentation for Thursday, and they're in the 750, maybe 850 range. But the house down the street that has one more bedroom, and I think 2 more bathrooms, sold for like $460. So how would you handle that?
Is it a comparable sale? I mean, is it comparable in all the other ways?
Yes.
First thing I would do is I would call that agent who sold it, and I get the details on it, because I don't think it's going to be what you think it is from the pictures. And I just read an article the other day, and one of the negatives of these wide-angle cameras and video, you get into some of these houses, it's worse than what you think it is. So I'd physically call that person and find out from that agent before what the situation was. And even though it was that nice, maybe it was just, maybe they just had to give it away because there was something crazy going on, which then that's going to come to a factor with your.
Yeah, I mean, certainly with short sales too. Sometimes banks come through or foreclosures.
Is it a, was it a show?
I'd call the other agent. I'd call the other agent.
My question is sort of the reverse of that. What do you do if you have a certain number in your head and then you get to the house and it's either in poor condition or it shows poorly and your number that you thought you would recommend is too high?
Okay, so you have a certain number in your head. You get to the property, and the place is a wreck.
Right.
Okay, I tell them. And normally I would, if it's that way, I'd give them a price based upon that. I'd have to adjust pretty quickly knowing the condition. But a lot of times I want to ask that before I get there. Is there anything positive or negative about your home that I need to know? Remember that question I asked?
Yep.
Right.
Well, the place is a wreck, or the place is this or that. Well, tell me more about that. So I want to try to be as much as prepared as possible before I get there by asking the right questions. If someone's done a lot of improvements, he's got a new granite, new 42-inch cabinets, this, and that. Now, I'm going in thinking the home is like new. That's why I'm going to go back on, well, your home is like new, but yet new construction is at $850. We're not getting $900 for this.
Another thing I used to do I actually didn't give them the proposal. I walked into houses that were nicer than what I thought. I was off, and there was other houses I thought that were just a disaster. And I would literally go back and say, I'd like to step back, and I'd like to take this in a 2-step approach. I'd like to do some more research on your property, and then come back out for another presentation. There's another way to do it. If it was in a positive fashion, it worked out great. If it's in a negative, I would just spin it in a way that, you know, might not offend him. But in his way, he's experienced, he's very going right at him, which is another route you can do, or you can go back with another appointment.
It also depends on how well you know the market. You know, you can go in there, I've done it, I mean, it happens all the time. I'm thinking a certain number and it's got a lot more in it, and I'll adjust, because I know they're comparable sales in the back of my head. Maybe I didn't bring them, or if it's not as nice as I thought, there's a lot of adjustment. Even though I might have already sent them ahead of time pricing, sometimes I've gotten there and said, what I sent you, ignore it. We're starting over.
The best question you can ask on that situation is, if you were going to stay at the house, what projects would you do? That was the best way I'd get all that crap out of the house, that they wouldn't tell me about this and that and the stuff in the house that I want to know about. What projects would you do if you stayed in your house? They will spill their guts to you and say, you know what? I'd put a new kitchen in, I'd fix that leak in the roof, I would do this and I would do that. I'd highly recommend that question. It was a good question to find out. Another question. Desiree, did you hear that?
Yes, I have another objection. Buyers typically like to offer less than asking price. So why don't we start higher to give them room to come down for negotiation?
So you're a seller, and you're going back to, I want to start higher and then come down. I would handle it the same way as I handle the gentleman in the back. A lot of times as far as objection. I have to explain to the seller that I understand that you want to start high. However, buyers won't even look at your home if you start too high. And it's a matter of getting them in the door, isn't it? And wouldn't you rather have 10 buyers here competing for their home versus none at all? You know, and then I go and maybe say, you know, wouldn't it be nice to have an auction? Do you ever see an auction start high, or do they have a low minimum bid?
Remember, repeat, affirm, ask questions. Repeat, affirm, ask questions. If anybody wants another tip, anybody that's been around me, they hear that a lot. Repeat, affirm, ask questions, and you'll get some better answers that you want to get out of them if you continue to repeat, affirm, and ask questions. What's another one? Yep.
Is there a number that you have for your qualifying for your marketing plan? Say that 900,000. Say you wanted to, he was dead on 850. Is there a number where you go, well, you're not going to qualify for my marketing plan when you were ahead?
It depends on the motivation. You have to go back to that. You know, this guy, I mean, this guy, you can hear his pain, and you're going to go back at him about his grandkids. I mean, I'd be back on him in 21 days for a reduction right away. So I think that the variance there depends on the motivation, but you know, 5 to 10%. I wouldn't go. In this case, I wouldn't go much more than 850. So if you had to take it.
If you knew it was a dog that wasn't going to hunt, would you still try to price it higher and get those again and then knock him down, or would you just walk? At what point would you walk is my question.
If the guy was firm at 900. I mean, if he's absolutely no, I'm not going below 900, well then it's not going to sell.
Or 875 and you stuck to his guns?
875 wouldn't have worked. That would have gone, that would be about 10%. I wouldn't have gone that much. Unless it was pre-agreed on a reduction. Okay, good. I'll go at your price.
Right.
Here's the deal.
30 days, 2 weeks.
2 weeks from now, I'm going to get a pre-signed. We're going to 799.
All right, another quick question. If he disagreed, or if he objected to putting on the buyer's hat and told me he was the seller and didn't want to put the buyer's hat on, what would you say? When you said, put your buyer hat on.
I understand, but yet I would probably say something like, well, then you're still the highest bidder for your home.
That's right.
Right?
A lot of buyers are always looking on like different type of multimedia, for example, Zillow, Realtor.com, and those kind of things. And they noticed that a seller went from one price and extremely went up to a higher price. And that puts a bad taste in the buyer's mouth. As the owner, how do you deal with that? Wouldn't that like hurt the owner? That
They wanted to raise their price?
yeah, they raised it.
If someone wanted to raise their price, they listed their price and they wanted to go higher. I know the answer with Jeff and I, we wouldn't do it, and we'd
Well,
fire.
I think the question would be, what specifically have you done to the home to create more value?
But if the house is already listed, she's saying it goes up in price. You wouldn't list.
Oh, if it's
a price.
If the market went up?
But if they list their house for 900, hasn't sold, and they see someone else raise their price, they want to raise theirs.
Oh, gotcha, they see someone else's.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the question is, do you want to be for sale or for sold? Because they're for sale. You're telling me you want me to sell it, and you want to sell and be in Marlton in 6 months. Clearly your neighbor, whoever did that, they don't want to be in Marlton in 6 months. They want to be on the market in 6 months. So if you wanna raise it, then you're gonna sell, and you're not gonna sell.
Because buyers are searching a lot online today, and they notice the change sometime before you
Oh
realize.
yeah, we're giving him more info than ever. Did you guys notice that he's not attached to what? Do you guys ever get sold on something, a car or anything in your life, jewelry, and that salesperson wasn't attached to the outcome? You knew that person was probably either A, they were not good at selling because they were a bad salesperson, you could tell, or B, they were a really good salesperson, and what did you end up doing?
Selling.
You typically did what?
Buy.
You buy it.
Yeah, you buy.
Because you're just trying to beat them up. It's the same thing in anything, isn't that what you're selling? Regina?
Can you address the full fee? Full fee objection?
For 6%? So I want to list at 5%, Jeff.
Okay, now I can appreciate that. I guess what I'm hearing you say is that you really just wanna net the most money out of the sale, correct?
Yep.
It's more important to you how much you're gonna net, not ultimately how much I get paid.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I just want to know what I want to, yep, no, yep.
Okay, good. See, my company policy is 6%. So we're gonna go ahead and list the property at 6%, offer 3% to the buyer's agent, or I'm gonna take 3% of the listing agent. And if a buyer's gonna buy your home, let's say, or they're gonna look at homes, and they have 10 to choose from this weekend, 7 of those are listed at 6% and 3 are at 5, and you're the agent, which are you gonna show first?
The ones that pay more.
What's gonna pay more? So would you rather have a 70% chance of getting those buyers to look at yours, or 30%?
70.
Good, you need to list at 6%, fair enough?
Yeah, fair. So you know who beat you up on that a lot of times? Who would you guys say? What type of business people beat you up on percentages? Builders, who else? Lawyers? Right? Lawyers are the best ones. I get these people coming to my office like, Jerry, I need help. This guy will only pay 5%. He doesn't want to pay flat commission. You know, blah, blah, blah. If you go back to him and show an example to a lawyer, they just need to be shown an example. And I'll give you an example. Mr. Lawyer, we'll use Phil as the lawyer. You have 2 cases to pick from, Phil. One, you're making 10 grand on the one case, you're making 15 grand on the other case. And you're the lawyer. No extra work. Would you take the case for 10 grand or the case for 15 grand?
I got my mind, 15.
15 grand. Phil, in real estate it works the same way. They're looking at 2 houses and you're paying 3% and the other person's paying 2.5%, and that person's making 3 grand more on this house, and they sell 10 houses like that in a year. That's 30 grand in their pocket. So the question I have to ask is, do you want them to bring an offer on your house or sell the other property?
My house.
Your house. This list is 6%.
So all that works only if they're talking about the buyer's side. I mean, what if they say, all right, 5%, why can't you make 2%? I'm about to give you an $800,000 house, and then they do the calculation of how much you're gonna make. Isn't that enough money for you to make, and you could still offer 3% to the buyer's
Great question, great question. So here's what you want me to do, here's what you're saying. Repeat, affirm, ask questions. Repeat, affirm, ask questions. So what you're telling me is you want me to take it for 2.5% and pay out 3% to the other agent? Is that what you're saying? Okay. So here's the sheet of what we do to sell houses. Now the question I have for you is, what would you like me to cut out to sell your house?
Exactly. That's right. Here's your 31-point marketing plan. So here's all the things I'm gonna do and only charge you 6%. In fact, I'm gonna do all the work. So you're gonna get 94 of it, I'm only gonna get 6. But ultimately right now, show me on here what you don't want me to do. And I won't put it in the MLS if you don't want it. I won't send this to all the top agents in the market. I got 40 different websites I put on the drives, about 8 new buyer leads a day. I mean, which one did you not want it on Zillow? Because I can't afford to go ahead and drive the traffic to your property at that level. We need to go ahead and do it at 3%. Fair enough?
Another one we
So you
use
get
with
them to
people
start checking it out.
was this one. Would be an inexperienced agent will give you a response back and say, I will do it at 2.5%. But the part they're not telling you, what I want to do today is tell you the truth, is they're going to hold back on spending money. I don't want to hold back. You told me the most important thing on selling this property is to net the most amount of money. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So if they only are going to make 2.5% and they're making 3% on another house on a listing, what do you think they're going to spend their marketing dollars? The other listing at 3%. I don't want to cut any corners for you, and I want to net the most amount of money. And the best way to do that is to list your house at 3%, so you can get the Marlton in 6 months. Is that fair?
Jeff and Jeremy, I have a question. Lately, we have a lot of discount brokers. And most of the sellers are putting it on the MLS, and that's what the main thing is. Once you put it on the MLS, it goes to all the search engines. How do you handle those sellers?
I'll answer that one because I had a relationship with a discount broker. So I went to a discount broker, and I don't look at them as competition, I look at them as a referral source.
Oh, totally.
80, I don't know, it was 80-some%, something crazy. A guy I know had a flat fee of $4.95 to go on the MLS. So I went to him and I built a relationship on referrals and said, listen, I'd like to get you some extra income. What percentage of your houses don't sell in the MLS that you list? He said 80-some%. I said, how about this? So you're not making any money on the buy side because they're not selling their property. He said, no. And he did some buy work too. I said, how about this? How about I give you a referral fee for every person that I can contact, and if I get their house sold, and they decide to take their service from you because they pay you up front, I'll give you a 25 or 30% referral fee. I built that relationship for years and got consistently, I don't know, 6, 8, 9 transactions a year off of that source, and Soroka still has it, I believe, of that source. I look at them as a referral source, not as my competition.
So that's fine, but how would you handle the seller? If the seller wants to say, okay, that
Simple, same thing. So I'll give you an example. We used to pull stats and show them how many discount brokers listed people's properties and how many expired. So you should be going to your manager and say, your manager, I need some help pulling some stats, and show me discount brokers and show me how many are expiring. What you'll notice, discount brokers, many of those properties expire, and show your heavy stats at whatever company you work at sold. And at the end of the day, here's a very important question, is this, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Is this about you selling your property for top dollar, or up front trying to cut costs that you never had to pay? And they look at you kind of weird, like, what do you mean? You don't pay me a dime if I don't sell your house. That broker commission that you just paid that discount broker, you paid that up front. And 85% of those people are not selling their house. So the question I have is, do you want to get the model in the next 6 months? Just show them the evidence.
No, of course.
And in that case, if they don't see the value in you, move on to the next one. There's plenty of people out there.
I recently saw a good example about the 6% rule, and you take $6 bills and you say, three of these dollar bills go to the buyers. And you have 3 left in front of them. You say,
Yes.
1 goes to my broker, 1 goes to the tax man. I'm left with $1 bill. What do you want me to do with that dollar? And then it's like a really clear way, and you realize, like, wow, that's all money.
Danny Capero has a really good marketing piece that I saw from our Bluebell office on that, and really breaks down how the commission gets paid out if you have an issue on people paying out commissions. It's pretty cool. All right, so we are at 12:33. We'll leave it for one more question. We'll do the giveaways, and you guys can eat lunch. How's that sound?
Good. When you mentioned be not attached to the outcome.
Yep.
There was a point there. What is the underlying principle behind that? Is it, he made a strong presentation, but he's not attached to the outcome,
Okay.
Therefore what?
Great question. Do you guys ever go to the hospital and you notice a doctor is not attached to outcomes? Would you guys say that's a fair statement? His question is, how do you get eliminated from being attached to outcomes? I've asked cops this question because I'm amazed by it, and doctors. And lawyers, I asked a lawyer playing tennis the other day, and he kind of looked at me weird, and he said it was very, very hard. Could you imagine defending someone and then losing their life and their money, or someone passing away? It's very hard, and it's a profession they had to build over the years of mindset and skills. So for him and me and other people in the room, you have to practice, practice, and practice your skill set so that you are not afraid of the outcome. If you have enough in your funnel and you prospect 3, 4, 5 days a week, him and I did 5, I'm trying to get people to just do 3 days a week right now, right? And I have people doing that, is if they have enough in the funnel, you're not attached to the outcome. If you ever meet me for an appointment for recruiting to join the company, if I don't think you're the right fit, I'll refer you to the right company. And if you join with you, if you don't, I'm going to help you later down the road. You just don't know it. And I believe that truly, that that person doesn't have to do it right then. And what you'll find is your presentation, your question asking, your recommendations will be a lot stronger than if you were just worrying paycheck to paycheck. And it's hard for people who are living paycheck to paycheck, right? Because real estate commissions, you're paycheck to paycheck. It's hard, right? Him and I both been through it. It's rough. And at that point, if you truly are doing that, you have to surround yourself with people who are very, very powerful and believe that you are not living paycheck to paycheck.
And it all starts a mindset. I mean, it's a challenge not being attached, but yet at the same time, people, when you go into the presentation and you come off in a desperate manner, they're not going to work with you. It's only when you're in an abundant manner is when you become more attractive. So when I'm on the presentation, I'm not really looking at it. I'm almost disqualifying him away to make sure that he gets qualified the way. Right?
I know there was something behind that.
It's the same thing with me. I don't know so many people each month. I'm trying to disqualify people.
Remember, I said if you qualify for my marketing plan. It wasn't that I need your listing.
So, in summary, and then we're going to give the giveaways. Number one, did you guys notice he asked a lot of questions? If you want to write notes down, it's the best time to write it. He asked a lot of questions, correct? I can't hear you. Yes. Number two, he repeated a lot of things that I said, correct?
Yes.
Number three, he got to the motivation, correct? Correct?
Correct.
Was it his marketing or was it him getting to the motivation? Which one?
Motivation.
Getting to the motivation, right? Next one. Did you guys notice how important it was his preparation was before the appointment? Yes?
Yes.
Did you notice the first appointment is the first appointment or is it the pre-qual?
Pre-qual.
First appointment is the actual first appointment or is it the pre-qual?
Pre-qual.
Pre-qual. When's the second appointment? The actual what?
Appointment.
First appointment. If you guys need help with that, hit your managers up. Send me an email. I'll help you. His presentation is my presentation. Jim Cabasco teaches the same presentation. We all have the same presentation. We all got trained by the same people. Okay? I want to thank you guys for coming today. Did you guys enjoy it?
Yeah.
So let's give a round of applause for Jeff for coming and sharing what he's got. All right, here's the giveaways. Ron Gossovich, are you here? Figures he leaves. I talk about a car lease and he was going to give it away. He left. All right. Everybody got the card in here? You got your card? All right. So the first one is a day with Jeff Quintin. You can take notes, go down, hang out with Jeff, and you can see it in action. Okay? So that's the first one. Bob Thomas, where are you at, Bob Thomas? So hit Jeff up after this. You get to hang with him for the day. Okay? Maybe I'll come with you and we'll go to the beach. All right. Second one. 2 hours of prospecting with me. You bring the leads. I'll help you set appointments and follow up with them for you. Yvette. Yvette? All right. Hit me up afterwards. All right? You got an objection handler? You need help with it? This is the one we're going to help you with. I'll put this one back. We're going to do something else. Mike Doyle. All right. The Darren Hardy book. If you want a free audio copy of the Darren Hardy book, on my blog, jeremybowers.com, I have a free audio of it for you. But if you want the book now, where is Chris? Where's Chris? Chris Van.
He just went down the elevator.
He just left?
He just pulled out.
He's gone? Gotta be present. Those Coldwell Banker Wayne people.
All right.
Gone? All right. Mary Beth Oates.
All right.
All right, get us on the book. All right, now, my suit guy only makes men's suits, so if you win the suit shirt, maybe just give it to someone else. I don't have both sides. Told me he needs to start making women's clothes. I won't tell you the response. All right. You're going to have to give it out. Phyllis. So, hit me up afterwards. Right now, I'll give you Robert's phone number, and then just call him, and he'll get you a free custom shirt for whoever, okay? Cool? All right. So, thanks, everybody. We have lunch outside. Grab lunch, talk, and hang out. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming.